Hey everyone, it is Friday and we are live on the set in my kitchen of JA Recipe for Success. I'm your host, Lori Salarulo. I'm the CEO and president of Junior Achievement of South Florida. And as you may know, because you've watched the show before, this is all about bringing on leaders and entrepreneurs who share their story, talk a little bit about what's going on in their world, as well as talk about some of the ingredients to their success. And so today's guest is someone that, if you don't know him, your head's been in the sand somewhere. But because I think everybody knows this guy, love his energy, love him, family, friend. And so it is my pleasure to welcome and bring into my studio Mr. Steve Nudelberg with On the Ball.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I actually wish I was in your kitchen. You are such a great cook, so I could use.
Well, I haven't been doing a lot of that lately, but I'm getting tired of it, actually.
Yeah, it's this has been a very unique experience for everybody.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a good word. I like that, unique. And so because everybody uses the words challenging and uncertain, and those have such a scary, negative, right, feeling to them. So I like unique. That's a good way to put it, Steve. I think.
To just jump in, if you will, the confidence comes from how you speak to yourself. And if you speak to yourself and scare yourself with those words, all the behavior comes from that. And so, at the start of this whole thing, and, I coach CEOs all over the globe. I coach lots of sales executives. This is all about mindset. This is where do you put yourself in this maze that's going on? Nobody knows, but you control what you can control, and language is huge. So it is unique. Nobody's been through it before. We're all on a level playing field. First time ever that no matter where you are in life, we're all at the starting line going, wow, this is unbelievable.
Exactly. And so, I wanted to talk a little bit this morning with you around sales during this time, because that's your area of expertise. And as you mentioned, this is a unique time. And so I guess my first question to you, and I know I'm curious about it, is what do organizations need to do and leaders need to do to protect and grow their revenues, right, during a unique time like this? What's going to separate them from the pack?
So 7 weeks ago, after my phone, my email was blowing up with people asking me that same question, what do we do? The whole sales universe was stuck. I posted a video, and the video went incredibly viral, but I came out in front of it and said, if you are questioning in your mind whether you should be prospecting now, the answer is hell yes. There is unprecedented access to individuals who are all working from home, who are looking for human interaction, looking for engagement. They are not looking to be sold. And, I'm a big fan of music. I put the music from the Beatles help to really sort of qualify the message, and saying, this is a help economy. What can I do as a resource to help you, Lori? I called you straight away and said, listen, I don't know what's going on in your business, but whatever you want, need, ask, please. I didn't sell anything in because it's insensitive. I don't believe you should be doing that even in a traditional economy, but help. I need somebody, not just anybody. You need me. And so, a lot of the work that I've done recently is make strategic introductions. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. CEO, what's going on? Well, here's my pain. You know what? You should be talking to my friend in Toronto. Bang. And so what's going to happen is the people who are standing strong and delivering value during this time, people will never forget them. People who run away and hide just are not confident in their value proposition. Because that's the stuff that's getting weeded away. If you do not solve problems, if you do not, offer up real solutions, that fat is getting cut out of the economy. And, so for the people that I'm working with, there is new business being done. There is certainly securing existing business. For me, it's all about planting a garden. Healthy pipeline is how all the companies that I invest in and all the companies that I work with, I want to see healthy pipeline. There has never been a better time to build pipeline. That doesn't mean you walk in today and close it, but to start generating new relationships at scale. The tools have never been better. I've been positioning my clients for years to go virtual. This is not a new thing for us, so we're very.
I was going to go there next. I was going to talk a little bit about, so prospecting, right, and building the pipeline looks a lot different today than it did even 5 years ago, right, 3 years ago. And for some people, it looks totally different because they are not where you are, right? And they're not in the world, they haven't gotten into the digital virtual world of building pipeline and prospecting. Talk a little bit about that.
So, me, I'm a process guy. I always have been. My book that I wrote is all about how I prepare for every day. It's 27 rules for leaders and influencers called Confessions of a Serial Salesman. But I take process very seriously. So what I do, when I do it, how I do it, who I do it with is all measured activity. And I took advantage of the tools that were available 5 years ago. LinkedIn is the #1 business relationship tool ever built. The layers and layers of things that it is capable of doing, only 2 to 5% of the population are using it. I have unbelievable joy, and you used that word with me yesterday, and I love that word. But I have joy when I can deliver this, awakening to people and go, there's a tools that's sitting right in front of you. 99% of it is free. The only thing you got to do is bring you to it. And I think the big paradigm shift is that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's not necessarily new, but you are more important than what you do. The success that you've had at JA is because of you. You brought that ingredient. And so social media allows you to share who you are. And listen, I don't think everybody likes me, and I don't care if everybody likes me. The ones who do support my life in so many ways that's what really matters. So, if you go back to when I started in sales and everybody said, oh, it's a numbers game. Well, you're only going to hit 3 out of every 10 times you're at bat anyway. In baseball, you're in the Hall of Fame. In sales, I make friends with people at scale, not because I want to sell them, but because I want them in my universe. They bring value in lots of different ways. And there's a zillion people who will never have the opportunity to buy from me who can refer me. And so, you started the show, and I'm always flattered by that. People go, holy cow, everybody. Well, that's physically impossible. That's what I try and do every day. So.
Exactly. So we talked about building that pipeline and prospecting. And of course, me, I love all this stuff. So I read everything I get my hands on. And for us, driving revenues, right, is the key to being able to deliver our mission, right? So our product is the Junior Achievement Mission, which is to prepare students to do exactly these kinds of things, right, for jobs and to be entrepreneurs like you. Let's talk about selling for a moment, because that's where I'm getting mixed reviews, right? Especially in the philanthropic world. Should we be asking for money? Shouldn't we be asking for money? And I hear, should you sell your product? Shouldn't you sell your product or your service? And that's where I'm hearing mixed reviews. So I'd love to hear your take on that.
So it's a difficult question to answer today, because if you were spending every day outbound pushing sales, you're going to get slaughtered now. If you spent, time before building your outbound, who I am, what I am, here's what I do, here's the value, here's who I do it with, the funnel turns upside down, it comes back to you. So 90% of my business is inbound, and it's still inbound. It's different. It may be done in a shorter time frame. It may be done at a lower revenue mark than we were achieving before. But if people understand what you do, they will still be inquiring if you broadcast that message. And that's what social media allows you to do, is to create your own broadcast channel to share with people what you do, who you do it with, and how you do it. And I think the experience that people have, I'm on the board at JA, I love the work, I'm totally engaged and totally involved. That has nothing to do with the circumstances around me. That's still true. And however I can help, whether it's money, time, ideas, I'm going to do that regardless of the circumstances. And so the clients that we worked with over the last couple of years are uniquely poised because they've built a distribution channel of where people already know that they're the go-to resource. So you have to be very careful here, because I do not create selling environments. I create sharing environments. Share it at scale. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So it's very process driven how you build that funnel. And the funnel pipeline for me, even though 50% of it got wiped out because people said, hey, we're going to put the brakes on it, there's still new business coming in. I'm starting to work with 3 new CEOs, one from Denver, one from New York, one from Iowa. How does that happen? It happens because I preceded, and you can start today, and really in the next 90 days, if your message is here, we're here to help, not I'm here to sell. And that's a difficult transition for a lot of organizations who are very transaction based versus relationship based. I've been relationship based my whole career. I always wanted to be in a position that if somebody needed what I did, I would be one of the choices. I don't have to be the choices. I'll take my fair chance. And the tools to do that are so incredible that the people we work with are still having success. That maybe not the same success that they were having in February. Most of the business we were in were achieving all-time highs. Well, that may not be realistic today, based on circumstances, but we're still going to win the game. I'm totally confident.
And you talk about the message, and I was going to go there too, because I think, listen, our goal is, as Junior Achievement, is to be the go-to organization, right? When it comes to teaching youth and preparing youth for the future, right? For careers and for entrepreneurship. And in this day and age, if people don't understand how important teaching them to handle their money is, right, then we're missing that boat. But that's part of it as well. And so that's what we've been focusing on, is content, right? Making sure that people have a way to connect with the JA brand, right? And understand the value that we bring to the community. And so talk about content, because you talked about message.
Well, so messaging is content. So one of the things we teach in our course and in all of the trainings is that content is basically in 2 buckets. It's business. How do you do your business? Who do you do it with? What's your value proposition? The other is personal. Who are you? How do you operate? Who do you know in the community? So it really is all about reputation building. So the funnel that we use, which is very different than most people, is that it's an awareness game. The more people that are aware of what JA does, and if you think of an upside down triangle, the top of the triangle is all about awareness. The more people that are aware of what JA does and what their mission is, and know you and how you do it and how you operate as a CEO, that creates consideration. So awareness leads to consideration. Consideration leads to decision. If nobody knows who you are, they cannot make a decision to do business with you. I, for the last 5 years, have built my reputation based on just sharing stuff in social media channels, and that lands in people's places, in front of people that I would never have the opportunity to meet. And they reach out to me inbound because they're interested in a dialogue. Now, I don't sell all those people, but I'm really open about delivering value without a sale. If you have a question about sales, I want you to ask me, and I'm inundated, and people go, wow, I can't believe you're the one that answered. I'm like, didn't you reach out to me? Wouldn't you be disappointed if it was automated or, it's me. This is me. This is what, if you want to know something. And at the beginning of this whole thing, we were overwhelmed with people saying, we're stuck. We don't know how to deal with our sales team. We don't, this is new. We got to get caught up. We've seen what you've done for other people. I didn't go into that looking to sell them. I went in looking to solve the problem, and then you deal with the economics afterwards. So, that funnel of awareness, every human being is capable of creating awareness. It's an attention game. The same way companies used to advertise on TV, radio, and print, you're your own media. And the more of your own media you put out there, as long as it's genuine and authentic, the more it turns around, it comes back at you. And I share in my trainings some of the crazy large deals that have come to me saying, hey, we have a problem and we want you to solve it. And I'm like, well, how did you find me? And they'll go, well, we saw a picture of you with somebody and we've done business with that person. So we investigated you, and all across everywhere they say you're the go-to guy. So I'm like, so there's not even a bid. There's no, here's what we have. Here's what we want. And, what? So
yeah, it's definitely different today. Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, and that is still happening today. Now people are a little bit more cautious about spending. Our fees, structure has changed a bit. So what? If we provide value, it'll bounce back. It always does. History proves that. Some of the greatest companies started during a downturn or a recession or 9/11 or whatever. And statistically, you can look at those companies. So again, it goes back to how you think about this. Is this opportunity, or is this the end of it all? It's never the end of it all. It's always the beginning of something new.
Absolutely. Yeah. The end of something else is always the beginning of something new.
Right.
And I just said that to someone yesterday, actually, regarding something else, but I love it. And so I just want to I love that one, awareness, consideration, decision. And I know you said that to me once a while ago, and I shared it with my team because I thought it was pretty powerful.
We have it in front of everybody's desk. And when this went remote, we sent it to everybody, and they say, if you don't have a home printer, get one, print it, put it up in front of your work environment, because this is the metric on how you're going to grow your business, how many people are aware of you. If you create more awareness, the opportunities start to create themselves. And so that's where the word selling is really passé. It's developing your reputation, developing opportunities. Sales is really more about opportunity creation. There's a zillion people that would love what you're doing. Entrepreneurs love sending the elevator back down. I get so much gratitude from working with the kids, being part of the Shark Tank program. I've met some great people on the board. I've asked other people to come on the board. So it's a wonderful experience. And it's just an awareness thing for you. There's some people who don't even know what JA does. So
Exactly.
The more
So I'm curious, is there a next LinkedIn? Like I think about that and I say, okay, LinkedIn is the place. Is LinkedIn going to be the place for quite some time? Or is there going to be, because I know there's other sites, but for business purposes, LinkedIn seems to be the best tool. Are there other tools you see coming?
So it's an interesting question, because I build business based on strategy, not based on tactics. So my strategy and the companies I work with is to create significant engagement with decision makers. LinkedIn is a tactic to do that. That has basically come into its own in the last 2 years. I've been in it for 5 or 6 years. And by most people's standards, I'm considered to be an expert, and I can prove it because of the value that has come to it from me. But I'm always a student of the game. And so, people often say to me, especially when they go through our courses and then they're like, this is unbelievable. I'm scared it would go away. What would you do if it went away? And I said, I would find whatever the next tactic is the same way I did it with this. So social media in general, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Twitter. They're all very different audiences. They all have all different strategies, but my goal is exposure and awareness. So I've created that. And, there's so many people who say, oh, Facebook is for kids. Everybody's on Facebook, they have more numbers.
Actually, I don't think our kids are on Facebook. We're all on Facebook.
Well, right. So the one place that I cannot go is Snapchat, because my two boys would kill me if I was on Snapchat.
Yeah, that and this new TikTok thing, I don't know. But
what's interesting is that my son, Mark, who and is also volunteering, he joined the business April 1st. And he's the president of the company. I could not be more excited. But last year, he left college football after 10 years of coaching. He had a very successful coaching career and said, I think there's more to life. I want more. So he wound up jumping out, worked in the business community for a while, and then, jumped over and said, Dad, I want to do it together with you. So 2 points about that. Number one, when he jumped out, he said to me, Dad, I don't really have a process for what I need to do. I sort of know my product, but I don't know what I need to do. I wrote him a program, which I share with all of my clients. And that program in 1 year has developed him as a thought leader all across. He has his own coaching clients. So a guy 33 who had never been in sales is actually doing it, and we can show that. And then he said to me, and this is really telling to the audience, he said, oh God, Dad, my timing is really bad, because he took over as president April 1st. And I said, no, I think the absolute opposite. I think April 1st is all about opportunity. The world stopped, you jumped on, let's go, man. We're all in the same place. The ones who keep running are gonna blast by this whole thing. Think what could be in October. Who knows? It's a blip on the map. It's how you react. It's how you view things. Perspective is great in life, because we all, I'm going to be 60, man. I have very different perspective than I had when I was 30. It's great. So who knows what we're in. I am old. That's why they won't let me on Snapchat.
So perfect segue to my final question, which is, what is the main ingredient to your success?
So I'm glad you asked. I think it's really, really important. I'm a big superhero fan. I think everybody has a secret sauce, a special power. And interestingly enough, and when I train people, I train to make you great at what you're good at. I don't look at your weaknesses. I don't try and make your weaknesses better. So it's an interesting perspective, very different than the normal training world. But I'm all about results and success. So long way to get to the answer. So for me, the number one ingredient has always been energy and passion. People buy my energy. I hear it all the time. They go, listen, when you're in the room lights up. You bring energy and ideas and passion. And what was interesting is that I transformed that skill set into a digital environment long before this happened. So all of our virtual training and virtual meetings, we call them virtual coffees. We transferred to virtual coffees 2 years ago because it's much more efficient than having to deal with travel and parking and all of that stuff. All relationships can start in the screen, and if they're worthwhile, you move them off. So even in this environment, it's key to share what your number one skill set is. And for me, it's energy. I mean, people, and I didn't make that up. One of the exercises we use with people is ask the people around you, what's my secret sauce? Why do you buy me? Why? What about me? What word comes to mind when you say my name? Some people might have not such a nice word.
The older you get, the less you care about that.
I never really could. I can't control it. It doesn't matter. But for most people, they ask me, they go, where do you get the energy? And it's really driven by my passion. You've talked about your why. I've talked about the why for years. I didn't need Simon Sinek to tell me that, but when he did, it was like an aha moment. Oh my God, he's got it. That's exactly why I don't ever feel like I'm working. This isn't work. This is a blast. Get to share my gift with the world is so much fun. So it all is based on that energy. And I'll leave you with this. When I started my speaking career, and I've been fortunate to be on stages all over the world, and I'm still like pinching myself going, really, they wanted me? But I was told early on that it's 80% delivery and 20% content. So it's how you deliver your message is what people buy. And that's my special recipe.
I love it. And you know what, in my introduction of you, I use your energy as part of that introduction. So right on target. I love it. Some really good points, right? Awareness, consideration, decision. Remember that. Put it on your desktop, put it on your desk, and just continue to drive that triangle. Developing opportunities. I love that one. Prospecting, you talked about that. But today it's how can I help, right? Not selling in the old way, bringing value and measuring and process in place. And of course, energy and passion. And so I want
to leave with my pleasure. I want to leave with one more thought. It's hard to stop me, but here's the question of the day. Ask yourself, when was the last time you bought anything of significance from somebody you did not like?
Right. Absolutely. Unless you go, but you're absolutely right. And I think your energy and passion is what led me to want to continue our relationship early on when we first had coffee. And I remember that day. And so thank you for your friendship. Thank you for all of this. Thank you for sharing with us what you've known, right, for some time.
You are the best, my dear. Can't wait to come for some lasagna. Give Patrick a big hug.
I am so glad it's Friday because Fridays is the night I don't cook. So we can take out.
Well, you give Patrick a big hug for me, okay?
I will. Thank you. And thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And please stay tuned every Tuesday and Friday morning at 8:30 live with Recipe for Success. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.